What the hell is going on with Dillian Whyte, man? What is going on, my guy? Listen, Dillian Whyte, he was meant to be fighting this Saturday on the Fabio Wardley versus Justis Huni card. But apparently, she's not even apparently, it's been confirmed that Dillian Whyte will no longer be fighting this Saturday. He's off the card. By the way, we didn't even know who Dillian Whyte was meant to be fighting on the night. Do you know what I mean? It was like to be confirmed. So there was no opponents. The last I heard, he was meant to be fighting some guy from like Australia or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But it wasn't confirmed. It wasn't 100% who Dillian Whyte was fighting. Now listen, Dillian Whyte was also meant to fight against Joe Joyce back in April. Was it April? Yeah, it must have been April. April, March. No, it must have been April when Joe Joyce lost against Hrgovic. Hrgovic was the last minute replacement. It was meant to be Dillian Whyte. But then the guy hurt his finger, cut his finger, whatever happened in training. Do you know what I mean? Some madness happened. So Dillian Whyte couldn't fight against Joe Joyce. Now we was expecting him to come back this Saturday. He's not going to fight. Frank Warren saying he's not going to fight Dillian Whyte. Do you know what I mean? So there's no fight. The big question now is, who does Dillian Whyte fight next? Do you know what I mean? I'm hearing August 2025 is when Dillian Whyte is going to come back. And apparently it's a big fight. It's a big name. Do you know what I mean? And listen, I understand why Frank Warren, who's the new promoter for Dillian Whyte. I understand why Uncle Frank would take him off the card. Do you know what I mean? If there's a big name out there for Dillian Whyte to fight, it only makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Dillian Whyte's going to make good money. Frank Warren might do a little pay-per-view card for Dillian Whyte. So it makes sense for everyone concerned. Do you know what I mean? But the only thing is, I'm looking at Dillian Whyte now, 37 years of age. His last couple of performances against Tay, who did he fight? Tay, Christian Hammer, do you know what I mean? Jermaine Franklin, they haven't like been the best performance. Do you know what I mean? Dillian Whyte is looking sluggish. He's slowed down dramatically. Obviously, listen, he's 37 years old. Do you know what I mean? And Dillian Whyte has never been like the best boxer out there. I'm talking skill-wise. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't say Dillian Whyte is like the elite of the elite boxers. Do you know what I mean? Dillian Whyte is a solid guy, honest fighter. You know he's going to come forward. Do you know what I mean? He's going to come forward. He's going to slug it out. He's going to bang. Dillian Whyte is basically like a Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? But slightly better. But I put Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora in that same category. Joe Joyce, them guys are all like in that same category. Do you know what I mean? In terms of skill, ability, and achievements. I think they're all the same. Do you know what I mean? But Dillian Whyte, for me, he was at his peak, let's say around about 2017, 2018. You know, at that time, he even beat Joseph Parker. Can you believe it? Like, Dillian Whyte beat Joseph Parker back in July 20... Is it July? Yeah, July 2018. He beat Joseph Parker via unanimous decision. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine them two now? Can you imagine putting Joseph Parker and Dillian Whyte in the same ring today? Like, we all know how that fight is going to go. Do you know what I mean? Let's be real. Let's keep it real. Listen, I got respect for Dillian Whyte. I like him. You know what I mean? He brings that badness. He's a real guy. He's honest. Wears his heart on his sleeves. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't mess around. Dillian Whyte doesn't come across to me like them fake guys. Do you know what I mean? In the world of boxing, sport, there's a lot of fake people. Dillian Whyte just says it like it is. Do you know what I mean? He keeps it real, and that's just the way I like it. Do you know what I mean? I'm the type of guy just keep it real. Dillian Whyte at his peak, like 2018, 2017. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he had that run where he was beating everyone. He was the mandatory for like Wilder's belt. And I think Wilder at the time had like, what? Is it the IBF or the WBO? One of them belts. Whatever belt Wilder had. Dillian Whyte was the mandatory challenger for Deontay Wilder. But Deontay Wilder, for some reason, will never fight Dillian Whyte. Do you know what I mean? So Dillian Whyte just stayed in a number one position. Then obviously on came Fury. Fury beat Wilder. And then Fury gave Dillian Whyte the opportunity. Do you know what I mean? And they had a fight. When did Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury? So Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury was like 2023. So they fought in April 2023. Obviously, he got knocked out. Remember, he got knocked out by Tyson Fury. Technical knockout. That's what they've got on here on the record. Yeah, but by the time Dillian Whyte fought Tyson Fury, yeah, like in 2023, it was like 5 years too late, man. For me, anyway, it was like 5 years too late. Like for that time, yeah. Dillian Whyte was already had like the little drug ban, drug problems or whatever. He got caught with something, came back, he was clean, but he was getting into a bit of a mess. Do you know what I mean? Personal life, sports wise, everything was in a bit of a mess. He wasn't the Dillian Whyte of 2018. Do you know what I mean? When he had all that smoke. If Tyson Fury fought Dillian Whyte around about the 2018, the fight would have been a bit more competitive. But by the time Tyson Fury beat Dillian Whyte in 2023, like it wasn't the same Dillian Whyte. Do you know what I mean? It just didn't have that hunger anymore that he had while he was mandatory challenger in 2018. Do you know what I mean? And at that time, Tyson Fury was the guy, man. Tyson Fury was a beast at that time. Do you know what I mean? Think about it. Fury just beat Wilder. So Fury was the best heavyweight boxer in the world. Do you know what I mean? Arguably pound for pound at that time. That was obviously before Usyk came into the equation. Do you know what I mean? That was way before Usyk was in the picture. Do you know what I mean? So Tyson Fury just toyed with Dillian Whyte and then knocked him out. You know, that was it. But Dillian Whyte, he's had a good career. For me, he's had a solid career. He's had one title fight, lost that. He fought AJ, got knocked out. He's been in some big fights, man. He's fought against Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? Beat Derek Chisora on a unanimous decision. He's beat, what's his name? Like I mentioned, he beat Joseph Parker. Has Dillian Whyte fought Joe Joyce? No, he hasn't fought Joe Joyce. Dillian Whyte has beaten Dave Allen. Do you know what I mean? Look at Dave Allen now. Look at what Dave Allen has achieved. So Dillian Whyte is beating there with some big names, especially in British boxing. In British boxing, he's fought a lot of the big names. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Like, come on, you can't get any bigger than those two in British heavyweight boxing. Do you know what I mean? In fact, world boxing, because Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua are big names. Do you know what I mean? So Dillian Whyte he's had a great run, but the question is, who now, man? Who you gonna fight, bro? Who you gonna fight? It's not Joseph Parker. I don't think it's Joseph Parker. That's not gonna happen, even though there is some history there, and Joseph Parker can try and get that revenge. But I don't think it's going to be Joseph Parker because of the timing. It's August. I don't think it's Parker. Parker wants to fight in July on the Usyk versus Dubois undercard. He wants to fight on that. So it's not Joseph Parker. Could it be Derek Chisora? There's history there. It could be Derek Chisora. There's a bit of need that these two guys, like, they go back and forth. Do you know what I mean? Even though it's not that hot right now, they're not really at each other's throat, but there's still some history there. There's some tension there. And Derek Chisora, 50th fight. Do you know what I mean? Would he want to slag it out one more time with Dillian Whyte? That's a big card. Do you know what I mean? That could be a Wembley. O2 Wembley, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It could be a stadium fight. They'll do big pay-per-view numbers because one thing we know, Derek Chisora and Dillian Whyte, if you put them in the same place, fireworks. Fireworks. I'm telling you, it's going to be a madness, you know? So that could be the big fight that's going to be announced. Derek Chisora versus Dillian Whyte. But then would Dillian Whyte want to lose his mandatory position with the IBF to risk it against... would Derek Chisora... Did I say Dillian Whyte? Would Derek Chisora want to risk his mandatory position with the IBF to slag it out with Dillian Whyte? I don't know, man. I don't think so. Derek Chisora might just be sitting there and waiting for that title shot, man. Do you know what I mean? And what other opponent? Anthony Joshua, I don't think it's going to be Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, apparently, he's still waiting around, sitting around and waiting for Fury. The Gypsy King. And the Gypsy King apparently is waiting for Usyk. He wants the trilogy of Usyk. So AJ's in a bit of a limbo, but I think AJ's probably going to fight someone else. I'm hearing Jared Anderson, the young American prospect. He might fight him in like October or something like that. So I don't think Dillian Whyte versus Anthony Joshua. And another name, someone that there is a bit of needle between Dillian Whyte and the person, is Lawrence Akoli. Lawrence Akoli has been going at Dillian Whyte for the last couple of years, calling him fake, saying he's bashed him up in sparring, saying that he'll beat him up, he'll knock him out. These two guys don't like each other, man. And again, Lawrence Akoli, Dillian Whyte, that's a big fight. That is a big fight. There's a bit of needle there, and I can see that happening, man. I can see that happening. But for now, yeah, from what I'm hearing, I'm thinking, yo, Dillian Whyte involved in a big fight. It might be Derek Chisora, man, because let's be honest, Dillian Whyte doesn't really have too many big fights left. At his age, 37 years of age, I don't even think he's in the top 10 of the heavyweight division. Do you know what I mean? I think he's fallen off that. He's not even in the top 10. The likes of Fabio Wardley and that have gone way ahead of him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, probably Moses Saitoma is in there and Dillian Whyte is not. So it could be Dillian Whyte versus Derek Chisora. And Dillian Whyte, one more big fight, big money. That's why he's been pulled out the Saturday card, man, on the Justis Huni and Fabio Wardley card. That's why Dillian Whyte has been pulled off. But let's wait and see. Let's find out who Dillian Whyte is going to slug it out against in August. I'm thinking Derek Chisora or Lawrence Akoli. These are the two names that Dillian Whyte is most likely going to fight. But listen, guys and girls, man, let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know who you think Dillian Whyte is going to fight next. I think Derek Chisora. Let me know in the comments the name of the fighter that you think Dillian Whyte is going to take on come August. Thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. It's me, your boy Enzo. Please don't forget to smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe because that's the only way you're going to help us to grow. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. You can help us get there so much quicker. So go ahead, do all the above. I'll really appreciate it. I'll see you again real soon with another one. Until then, stay blessed, my people. Peace.